credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Hello, good evening. I'm Lisa Broom with the Thursday, May 7th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is to install walk-through and bag scanners, as well as increase the number of security guards at the facility. The measures, which go into effect from 7 a.m. this Sunday, come on the heels of two recent security breaches at the island's lone healthcare facility. According to a release from the hospital, management, led by Chief Executive Officer Dr. Dexter James, called an urgent staff meeting last Thursday to discuss security concerns. Dr. James told staff the board is very concerned about security matters and the recent incidents have heightened the need to respond. The measures are expected to be implemented on a phased basis, beginning with the Accident and Emergency Department. Meantime, Director of Support Services Louise Bob said while the Charter for the Rights of Patients provides a measure of protection to patients from physical, verbal and mental abuse, patients and visitors also need to be courteous and respectful to staff. A storage facility which contained hardware-type equipment owned by the Giada Group of companies has gone up in flames. The Barbados Fire Service was quick to respond to the blaze at the Giada Group headquarters at Spring Hall, St. Lucie. An employee who was leaving the compound saw smoke coming from the bond and immediately reported it to company officials. General Manager Paul Lewis told CBC News the incident occurred around 10:30 this morning. Luckily, no work was being undertaken in that area at the time of the incident.
We lost mostly storage, construction supplies, product. It was not one of our major bonds. We were fortunate in that the fire did not spread to our manufacturing company, Millworks, which is situated in the adjacent large factory. The fire we managed to keep contained away from that building, so we didn't suffer any losses there, which obviously would have affected jobs and so on. So none of that was affected. We didn't lose any momentum.
Mr. Lewis thanked the Barbados Fire Service for their efforts in containing the fire and bringing it under control.
The fire department did an absolutely amazing job. You know, those guys were in such conditions. The smoke from the items that were like the chemicals and the paints were so intense you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And they had their full oxygen gear and they were in there battling it like crazy. I was a little scared for them at one point. I had to keep back the staff. They did an amazing job.
2 water tenders, a tanker and 11 officers from the fire service responded to the blaze. Teachers are being told that if they supervise their charges properly, the number of pornographic videos being made by students could be reduced. This from former principal of the Grantley Adams Memorial School, Neville Springer. He was speaking at the school's 60th Founders Day anniversary. Mr. Springer says teachers must recognize that they should be guided by morals and supervise students.
They will not have time to make movies. They will not have time to gamble. They will have less time to fight. I'm not saying that you will stop all indiscipline. I am saying that your presence among the students reduces a lot of indiscipline. You get to learn the students, you get to know the students, and more importantly, the students get to respect you and obey you and please you.
Mr. Springer also says the way teachers dress should command respect from their students.
Any teacher who comes to school and have a male student telling her, the way you dress now makes me rise to the occasion. You should be ashamed of yourself. You have a responsibility to dress properly.
Minister of Labour, Senator Dr. Esther Bayer, says it appears as though the use of alcohol is being glamorized through various advertisements. Comparing those ads to others relating to tobacco use, she says the graphic images about the dangers of smoking appear to have worked, bringing about some change.
Sexy ads, they're all very glamorous, and what it may say at the bottom is drink responsibly. And that's it. Drink responsibly. There's no but there's no caution that alcohol can be dangerous to your health. There are no graphic ads that show you what your liver looks like after years on alcohol. There's nothing like that. Just drink responsibly. And I think we need to up the game when it comes to the use of alcohol.
Senator Byers says there is a relationship between youth unemployment and marijuana use, and she wants more entities on board to help with rehabilitation.
It really is everybody's problem, and certainly prevention is important. We have to get back to the point of seeing ourselves as a community, caring for each other, certainly as a community raising a child, because it has become overwhelming for a number of parents to be able to not only provide financially for their children, but to provide all that their child needs to be able to grow up and make the right choices. And so as a community, we have to be able to help to identify those children as well, help to pick up the slack and ensure that our children are stronger and are able to make the right choices.
Senator Reverend Dr. David Durant says too many young people are falling victim to drugs. He would like it to be made mandatory for young people caught with drugs to be sent to the Edna Nichols Center,
so they can be rehabilitated and helped, and also educated in the dangers of drugs. I am also concerned with the area of education. I think more information and a lot more education should be more structured and disciplined approach should be made, especially from our primary schools. I know the police has a unit that is going into schools and so forth and helping and teaching and educating, but I think even a wider or a greater level of attention.
Government will soon be bringing a revised Antiquities and Relics Bill to Parliament. Culture Minister Stephen Lashley says officials revised the legislation after it was taken to the upper house and several concerns were raised. He says the legislation is not seeking to acquire the treasured artifacts of Barbadians.
We have an interest in ensuring that not only do we talk about preservation, but that we have the legal basis to ensure that our treasures of heritage and culture are not dismantled, are not destroyed. And we've had a few cases in Barbados where some of our iconic buildings have literally been destroyed. And without the relevant legislation to enforce compliance, then we are exposed.
Mr. Lashley was speaking during the opening of the Interim Advisory Council meeting at the Hilton yesterday. He says CARICOM countries must understand that if they do not preserve, they cannot earn. Mr. Lashley says it will therefore be critical for countries to effectively manage the preservation of their cultural heritage.
I believe that the inscription of several of our properties across the region has had a significant impact, particularly in relation to heritage tourism. We have seen an increase in the interest of visitors who move across the world, very enthusiastic about heritage sites. And I believe that once this continues, that will be an immediate economic benefit for Barbados and the rest of the region. And therefore, that tells me that if we are getting that value added, then we have to plug some of the money back into preservation.
We'll have more news for you after the break, but first we want to get your take on this question. Should there be a new approach to deter young people from using drugs? Text yes or no to short code 8111. You'll have the results at the end of the news.
Dear Clark, I've made a fascinating discovery, the institutional water cooler. Its gravitational pull sucks people from their workstations at the busiest times of day to stand around it and chat about emerging global trends like, will pink be in fashion next season? Meanwhile, the world slows to a stop as it waits in line to be served. I don't see that trend at Globe Finance.
Globe Finance. Think outside the bank.
When it comes to their financial service, slow is out, swift is in.
Our life, our restaurant, our family means everything to us. A strong headache, then the pain goes away and our passion comes in.
Panadol Ultra, a combination of ingredients clinically proven to relieve the toughest pains, strong enough to relieve even the pain of migraine. Panadol Ultra, when strong pain is gone, life takes its place.
Start your weekend early with Q in the Community Thursday and Saturday. This Saturday, Q in the Community will be at the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Belmont Road, from 11 a.m. Come for dancing, karaoke competition, and lots more. It's a Q weekend, sponsored by Stag, the official bear of Q in the Community, and Jewers Whiskey. Tune into 100.7 FM or join our Facebook page for more details.
By the end of this year, it is expected that Caribbean vocational qualifications will be offered in bartending, and the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries will be funding the project. The organization will also be holding a seminar called The Art of Bartending to run from May 14th to July 30th at BCSI headquarters. The seminar will teach bartenders how to enhance their skills and techniques. Bartender at Sandy Lane Hotel, Jamal Bowen, who was speaking at a media briefing at BCSI this morning, says the industry needs more bartenders.
With the help of Nikos and with the thirst of knowledge of people who are going to be coming to the seminars, we hope to actually strengthen what we are striving so hard for, which is to make bartending a viable and more interesting career choice for people, not just here in Barbados but around the Caribbean. It is one of my duties here is to be a facilitator of all things fresh, of all things local, first and foremost. And then on the other end is to try to get people to understand that we need more bartenders.
87 years and aspiring to excellence. This former girls' school, now a co-ed institution, the St. Michael's School, today marked its Founders' Day with a service of thanksgiving at the Cathedral Church of St. Michael and All Angels. Students and teachers, past and present, along with members of staff, were all present for the service. It will also be the final Founders' Day service for Dean of the St. Michael's Cathedral, the Very Reverend Dr. Frank Marshall, who retires later this year. Principal Dr. Yvette Mears, during her maiden Founders' Day address, says the school owes a debt of gratitude to its founding fathers. She called on students to live up to the rich legacy of the St. Michael's School.
As you aspire to excellence in different fields of endeavor, I wish to encourage you to continue to support the legacy of this institution. You students are part of an institution which is a school of choice in Barbados. The reputation we have established as a school has been built throughout the last 87 years by those persons who served in various capacities, either as members of staff or as persons who actually sat in the benches and in the chairs to be students of this institution.
Former student, now attorney at law, Candia King Jones, while delivering the feature address, encouraged students to always set goals and follow them.
It makes no sense to aim at a goal without an arrow in your bow. An archer must choose the arrow that would be most effective to hit his target. So what arrows would you use so that you can achieve your goal or target of aspiring to excellence, whether it be in representing the school in activities, being promoted to another form, grading tests or assignments, and dealing with a disruptive student? The following arrows should be indispensable to our arsenal as we strive to make excellence a daily habit. your foundation, your attitude, perseverance, faith, and respect and confidence.
Other than arresting lawbreakers, policemen are working on a number of community programs to reduce the amount of criminal activities in some parts of the urban areas. New Orleans and Chapman Lane are being targeted to improve the qualities of those youngsters who might be having challenges with criminal behavior and learning abilities. The project, Learning in Harmony, is the second in the series. During a media launch held this morning at the Pan American International Insurance Corporation, it was announced that the previous programs were a success. Acting Station Sergeant of Community Policing and Drug Education, Jamal Mohan, says the students were in a better position to excel at their studies. However, he says the focus this time will be on the teenagers, and their aim is to double the number of participants to about 40. Mr. Mohan says police are also doing a 24-hour security shift in both areas, and as a result, many issues were resolved before they got out of hand. If all goes according to plan, the recently destroyed Barclay family tomb at the St. Mary's Church will be repaired. On January 4th, a giant mahogany tree fell on the 200-year-old tomb, crushing it completely. That's why an event called Heritage Gala and Jazz will be held on the historic grounds of the church on June 6th. Planners got together to discuss the necessary steps to get the project running. Coordinator for repairs to the church, Mark Phillips, says at least $30,000 is needed to fix the tomb. He says the church itself also needs renovations.
In addition to fixing the tomb, we want to do some significant repairs to the church, because as you will know, the windows are bad, the roof, the windows in the bell tower. All these things have to be fixed with water seepage into the building itself. That is causing some erosion and damage to the paint. So we're looking for this event to raise funds to do all of that.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. But first, a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Should there be a new approach to deter young people from using drugs? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the result for you